Morning, a rather dark, dingy, cold November morning, which is, if you can hear a hum in the background, that's my heater trying to stop me from dying from hypothermia. But also, I'm here today really to talk about this, the Pignose mahogany ukulele. Now, just a few various bits and pieces to go through the ukulele itself. It's solid body, so it's like a electric guitar type style body. I'm going to go on a little bit later about my thoughts around electric ukuleles and electric guitar versions of electric ukuleles, but we'll speak about that a little bit later. Now basically, what you've got with this is that it's got a rosewood neck, well finished off fretboard, bolted on bridge with plastic saddle, etc., plastic nut, machine heads as per usual, open at the back, you know, nothing special there. But the big thing about this, obviously, it's got Pignose written across the front there, and you'll see that the actual volume control is a little pig's nose. Now, just a little bit of background history on the Pignose, as it were, company. Pignose first started out making little battery amps for guitarists predominantly, quite a while back now as well, and a lot of guitarists used them for warm-up amps at backstage or practice amps or whatever. They were very similar in the sense of the setup to what they've done here. They only had a single speaker about that sort of size and a single on-off volume control, and you could turn it down quite low and get a relatively okay clean sound, or you could crank it up and get like an overdriven sound. They sounded okay, but again, they were battery powered and one of the first ones of their kind at the time, so they were used quite extensively. And nowadays they do different versions of it. Now they do bigger ones, they do different covered ones, so they're either in, the original ones were covered in a very similar mahogany colour to this, but with a vinyl, with chrome fittings, etc. That's where they started. They then made also a guitar version of this, which comes in different colours as well as the natural finish. And again, it's sort of used for travel guitar. Obviously, with the built-in amplifier means that obviously you can play guitar, you can practice as you would without having to plug in or carry around another battery amplifier. So quite useful for travel guitars as well. With regards to playing live or in any form of studio or professional situation, yeah, fine. I mean, again, you can plug them in. So on the bottom here, you'll see a 1/4" jack plug, and you'll also see a 3.5. That's a 3.5 jack for headphones, and that's obviously an output for going into an amplifier. The guitars have got the same sort of setup on them as well. So essentially, you could either sit there with headphones in, and all people would hear is this. But you would actually get an amplified sound in your headphones, or you could plug it into an amplifier, which I'll play a little bit later, just to give you an idea of what it sounds like in an amplifier. But as I say, solid body, mahogany, rosewood fretboard, well made, quite solid, comes with a gig bag, and retails around about £220-ish, something like that, I think, and you can get them from most of reasonable or good ukulele stores or online. So feature-wise, obviously you've got the speaker at the front. This is what this plastic thing is there. That's the output speaker. And then at the back, you've got the back panel for the speaker. Bolt-on neck, you can see. Battery compartment, easily accessible, takes a 9-volt battery. And the cover for the electronics, which gives you access to the volume control as well as the jack plugs here as well. Weight wise, it's a little bit heavier than an acoustic, obviously, as you'd expect, because it's got a speaker and a little amplifier in it. But overall, not too bad, quite comfortable, and quite easy to play. Again, one of the things you might look at with regards to these sort of ukuleles is, what's the point of it acoustically? Well, to be honest, if you're sitting there and you're just sort of strumming away, you can actually sort of play this quite happily on your own at night without disturbing anyone. It's loud enough for you to sort of play picking, play around with your scales or whatever. But obviously the main function is that when you pull the volume pot up, it clicks, and then you've got volume. So the volume goes from obviously nothing gradually up to full volume, and this is full volume. Now you might go, that's not very loud, but it's, you know, louder than a standard acoustic, but it's not really designed to be played live in that sense. You know, you would plug it into an amplifier or a PA or something, but this is the sound of it just coming through this speaker. And again, just give you a little bit of tone. I mean, boxy is the word that comes to mind. But overall, easy to play, intonation good, stays in tune, and the intonation is good all the way up. I mean, basically, you know, with regards to a 220 quid electric ukulele, it's not too bad. This has got nylon strings on it, obviously, as well, as you probably heard. And again, still, obviously, you're going to have a plastic bridge and plastic nut on this particular one, or bone if you want to change them over, but they come with plastic ones. And strap buttons, so you can actually just use a standard guitar strap, which is good. And essentially, you know, it's an all-round good little ukulele. Now, let's go through some interesting things. First of all, a little hack, okay? One of the things that I've noticed with this particular ukulele, especially with the headphone socket, is that you can actually sort of do a little trick here with this. Now, let's turn it on, okay? Now, the headphone socket, let's get a little cable. This is just a 3.5mm jack cable, plugged it into my phone, MP3 or whatever. Now, if you plug it into the headphone, mono, it works as a speaker for your iPods or whatever you want to play. Okay, so you've got volume control on this, and but obviously in this context, it's actually the volume control is coming from the iPhone. And then you've got something that you could actually use not just as an ukulele. But that's one hack. The other thing as well is that essentially, obviously, if you're using this with an amplifier, just to give you an idea of what that will sound like, I'll just plug it in to a standard little single channel amplifier, nothing special. I'll put a few effects on it in a minute just to give you an idea, but again, turn the amplifier on. Now, what you'll find is that you don't have to turn this on, you turn this off. This still works as a volume control on the ukulele, so you can essentially adjust it as you wish. With regards to the amplifier, so again, the output, if you want it to distort or not distort, as the case may be. So you can cut the volume a little bit, get a better tone. Now, I've got a little bit of reverb on this amplifier, but again, and I've not got it overly loud, but just so you can hear it, tone-wise. Tone of that is not too bad at all. It's obviously not acoustic. It's not meant to be acoustic. That's another thing you've got to remember, is that if you want an acoustic ukulele, buy an acoustic one. This is with just a little bit of chorus, but just gives you an idea of how you can sort of. Overall, not a bad little sound. Just turn the amplifier off so it doesn't make a thudding noise like it normally does. Not a bad sound. Overall, works quite well. Good little ukulele. Now, going back to what I was going to sort of discuss a little bit about with regards to electric ukuleles. Obviously this I would have likened, as I said, with the sort of lava ukulele with volume, but the lava ukulele has got an acoustic sound to it as well. So you know, if you don't know what a lava or a lava ukulele is, look at one of my previous reviews. There's one on there, and I've played a few shorts with it as well, which I'll do with this as well a little bit later. But ultimately, you know, the electronics behind it is very relatively basic, but it does come with its own amplifier and speaker. So it's up to you. Now, the electric ukulele conversation that I'm going to have is that personally myself, as a guitarist, I mean, I've got electric guitars and I've got guitars as well, but you know, from my perspective, I'm not a massive fan of the sort of still strung pretend miniature guitars as ukuleles. Fine if people want them and they like them, they enjoy playing them, and anything that gets people into playing instruments, kids, adults or whatever, is a good thing. So it's only my opinion. But there is another little hack which I was talking about earlier. If you are a guitarist and you do want to mess around with ukulele, etc, etc, here's a guitar. Now what you do is you go and get a chainsaw. Only joking. This is a real guitar. I'm not gonna, you know, just to prove it, I'll play one of those. Classics. Right. One of the things you need to remember, obviously, the tuning of an instrument, tuning of the guitar, tuning of an ukulele, obviously they all follow different tunings. You know, you've got E, A, D, G, B, E on a guitar, and you've got G, C, E, A on an ukulele. Right, just a little, not a trick really, it's just something you can do. But on a guitar, if you want to play an ukulele riff or an ukulele song with the same sort of positions as an ukulele, at the same pitch, get a capo, whichever one you use. If you haven't got one, go buy one. Now the 5th fret, put the capo on the 5th fret, nice and neatly, and then what you've got is the top 4 strings now become a low C, G, E, A. So if you play a C chord ukulele, single note, okay, and then you've got G, sorry, so if you play a song on an ukulele, ignoring these 2 low notes here, but you can always integrate them if you want it, there's nothing to stop you. So you're actually playing more sort of ukulele, but you're playing, like, for example, G. Gives you that nice sort of suspended note, there's no reason why not, who cares, as long as it sounds nice. But basically what you've got is, if we go with the, well, I don't know, we'll just play something quick. Ukulele, okay, just so that you know, it's just one of those things that I've spoken to a few people about and they weren't necessarily aware of it, but it's also, you know, something that's worthwhile sort of keeping in the background, that if you've got a guitar and you're playing live and you don't really want to take an ukulele with you, or you haven't got one and you want to play an ukulele part or an ukulele section, you can do. It's quite straightforward, obviously, but again, going back to this one, good little loop with a give bag, stays in tune, intonation's good, built-in amplifier, volume control like a Pignose, and overall not too bad at all.